Hello everyone. In tonight's video I'm going to show you how to tie this nymph, but more importantly I'm going to show you a couple of tricks, how I do certain things. For example, how I split tails, how I fork tails, how I do such a nice body, and how I control the thread, which is maybe the most important thing you can learn from this video. It's not going to be too long video, because this fly, even though it may look complicated, it's like super easy one to tie. So without any further ado, let's jump into tying. Now I would like to start with something that came to me today, because I always try to figure out new ways how to improve my videos. So apart from upgrading my gear, I would like to upgrade my content, and in this case I want to start doing something that's called why and because. So I wanted to show, and I'll try to do it on a consistent basis, so I don't forget something. I wanted to do it every video from now on in the future. So everything I do, I will ask question why, and then give you the answer because. So why am I using TMCO 900BL, which is dry fly hook, and why am I using tungsten? Well, it's barbless, it's black, it's not super fine wire, so it can be used for nymph. Jig of tungsten, obviously, because this is dry fly hook, so it's not meant to be jig positioned. The thread I'm using is 10/0. It's black, again, obvious reasons. Now everything is sort of dark, so I'm going to use black thread for this. Now I'll cut piece of thread maybe 20 centimeters in length. You can do less, but I find it quite easy to work with this length. Start your thread and work a little bit backwards. Now you need to make a thread foundation here, because everything lays better, everything holds better on the hook if you have a good thread foundation. Now with the good thread control, you want to lay your thread flat on the hook. So if you spin clockwise or anti-clockwise, your thread is going to be rounded up. If you spin it anti-clockwise, usually it's easiest to do just let it hang and see in which way it starts to spin, and then spin the bobbin that way. And when you can do it like so, it's unspun, it's like flat, so it creates less bulk. Now before I do everything here, I'll just go backwards a little bit, and then in figure of 8 I'll just start and secure the bead. So figure of 8, like you would do the dumbbell eyes. Now very useful thing to do is just use your dubbing needle and apply just a tiny little drop of super glue. Okay, my super glue is stuck, so okie dokie. So I'll just go along the hook. This is just to secure everything and prevent rotating of the tungsten around the hook. Now I said I need some thread control here, so I counter spin my thread to let it lay flat on the hook, and because I want a little bit of taper, I do these 2 layers here. Now it's time to do the tail. For the tail, I'm using Coq de Leon. You can use those which are closer to the bottom of the feather, so I will use just 3 barbs. 3 barbs because I want to fork them, as I said. You need them aligned, and you need to put them on the very top of the hook. Now if you don't want them to spin around the hook, look at this. No pressure and pressure towards me. No pressure or pressure up. So after the full revolution around the hook, you can apply pressure. When the thread starts cording up, just do the anti-clockwise spin, and then no pressure, upward pressure, no pressure, upward pressure, and your tails will remain on the top of the hook shank. Now I'm near the end, so I want to do this. The reason why I did this, it's already split, it's already forked. Now it's easy to fork them permanently. So how I do that? I take my thread, I make a loop around the hook point, and then that loop goes around, you place it between first and last leg, and you put the middle leg in the middle of the loop. This way, what happens? You fork your tail. Now, with not too much pressure. Okay, now I can add some pressure here, and if I want it a little bit more forked, I just pull on the thread. Now I'll just cut the cocktail part. I'll cut this thread piece here, but I'll cut it in the length near the tungsten, because I want to have this volume as I go with my thread towards the bead. Now everything is ready and prepared. Now we need this blue shiny part of the peacock eye feather. It's barb, so I want this one here. Now notice one thing. Look how it looks from behind. It's actually the peacock quill that we are using for our stripped quill flies. So it's rather robust and resistant to teeth, but nevertheless I like to protect it a little bit more. So cut a small tiny piece of it, just that's actually the most let's say fragile part. So let me do it a couple of turns here. Now spin your bobbin counterclockwise, so when you lift your thread, it jumps towards my hand, and I want to catch like 2 wraps, moderate tension, and then pull. If it doesn't work from the start, I'll do it one more time, and here it is. I stripped the quill. Now I'll go backwards with my thread. Same thing, jumping, I can position thread where I want it. Now there is rather important thing to do here. It's where you leave this quill. If you position it near the tails with the first wrap, you're going to actually cover and reposition the tail. I don't want to do that, so I want this quill to face towards me. I failed to do that at the beginning, so I'll leave a little bit of space right about here, and then I'll just wrap my thread forward, and as you can see, my thread lays flat, which provides me with a smooth underbody, which is crucial here, and I go all the way to the bead. That's it. Now I need one more layer of super glue here. If you fish for grayling mainly, you can omit this part. You can omit super glue part. But if you're fishing for trout, I will encourage you to just, well, protect your fly as much as you can. Now this is way too much, but never mind. I'm gonna remove the excess glue. Now you can see that I didn't do like distributing the properly. You can actually do that with your quill. What I want to do, I want my glue to go from the beginning here, and this is because this quill will push the glue. Now as you can see now here, the barbules are facing backwards, so make the first wrap over here, and then just slightly overlapping, go forward, creating this, let's say, skeletor, like a skeleton body. That's an idea from a friend from another fishing forum in Serbia. And then just wrap your body towards the end of the hook or the bead. One wrap, that's more than enough, because we are going to do the whip finish over here. Whip finish is also good to do with flattened thread. Okay. And now you'll get an idea why I did what I did, why I did black thread, why I did everything, because everything blends perfectly together. So this is finished nymph. You have this nice blue shade, it tapers up with the green as thorax, and everything is just one quill. And let me just find, okay, here it is. And if you want, you can just add some hotspot, and you still have the same nymph, just with a hotspot. If you want it for clear water, or even for muddy water, I would use this dark one, and for clear one, like it's just a universal thing. Now, the way how I would fish this fly is on a very thin tippet to allow it to sink deeper if necessary. If not, you can go with a slightly thicker tippet to slow down the sinking rate. So that's how you can actually manipulate with your catching depth. So it's not always like just go dig the bottom with your nymph. No, sometimes you just go through the middle column or even near the surface. Many times when I see the fish rising, I would cast maybe some smaller nymph, and when my nymph comes in front of the fish, I would just stop everything and let my nymph raise to the surface in front of the fish, where the fish usually takes it, even though it's not a dry fly. So that would be it. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, if you like my new concept of why and because, please let me know, and see you next time.